Huh. That's a weird way to announce the cringe portal. Geometry Dash is a game that holds a very special place in my heart. Out of every mobile game that I grew up playing, very few have stood the tests of time quite as well as Geometry Dash. Which becomes even more impressive when you consider that Geometry Dash hasn't received a major update in over half its lifespan. All of these games get updated, frequently even. And in this game's case, we'll get to that one another time. So, what keeps Geometry Dash not only alive, but worth coming back to over and over again? Well, it's the community. From verifying levels, to memes, to video creation, to discourse over the occasional sneak peek, there will always be something going on with the community, whether big or small. However, the biggest and most important thing that the community does to keep Geometry Dash alive, in my opinion, is creating custom levels. Level creation has existed in Geometry Dash since the game's launch in 2013, and has led to over 92 million levels being uploaded as of this video's release. However, everyone on the face of the planet knows that when you give little Timmy your iPad, they're bound to make levels like this. It's a tale as old as time. And I'm not free from this discussion either. You want to see what my first level looked like? I can go on and on about these levels for hours, but it doesn't take a bachelor's degree in game design to understand what's wrong with them. You have eyes, you can all see this. And if you can't, allow me to provide an auditory representation of these types of levels.
Seems you're set on going big, living well. If you don't, I'll drag your sorry butt down to hell. I'm set on going big,
So that's gonna get us nowhere. Instead, I'd like to turn the page to levels that actually had work put into them. And unfortunately, what makes them some of my least favorite levels in the game. This should go without saying, but all of this is entirely my opinion, and I don't have anything against these creators as people. And if you like any of the levels or creators that I mentioned in this video, then I wholeheartedly respect your feelings and opinions. Just let me talk about the Impossible game too. Odyssey by Viprin, and others, is a perfect example of how good decoration and solid music sync don't make a well-designed level. If you're a frequent Geometry Dash player, there's a likelihood that you've actually played this level before, as it's the 4th level of the Magic Gauntlet. Gauntlets essentially being level packs that you can complete to unlock rewards. And until 2.2 releases, I'm tempted to call this the worst Gauntlet level. I'm sorry, Colin. The start to Odyssey is fine, if not a little bland. I've never been a fan of placing jump orbs in the ground when they could have easily been jump pads, or placed in the air like most other jump orbs. I'm pretty sure this is just a personal gripe, but at the same time, I actually enjoy it when gravity orbs are placed in the ground. I think this is because switching gravity is a much more active gameplay element with the cube, as opposed to jumping, which you can do with the cube by default. At 14%, you get a blind transition into the ship, and finally, a semi-blind transition into the ball with a blind gravity switch. I feel like it should go without saying that obstructing the player's view of which game mode they're going to change into next is never a good design choice. But I feel like this problem is just going to exist until the end of time because it doesn't look like it's going away anytime soon. As for the ball section, it's horribly unsight readable. By the time these 3 orbs appear at 29%, you probably died at 29%. And there's zero indication that these dash orbs travel the way they do. The pre-drop isn't horrible once you get the hang of it, but it follows a couple design issues that I cannot stand. Blind transitions, jump pads and portals, and jump pads that aren't even necessary, inconsistently sized portals, and awkward gameplay. But this level's drop is where shit hits the fan. Let me preface that although players should beat difficult levels in practice mode before beating them in normal mode, this is a 7-star level. You know which level is also 7 stars? Fast base after base, and that level is piss easy. Jokes aside, the point is that when designing a level, you should strive to make your level as sight-readable as possible. Why? Because then you wind up with gameplay like this. Blind transitions, invisible jump pads and portals, invisible speed changes, shit moving in your way without any indication that it would move there, barely reactable and awkward transitions, and a random auto section is the cherry on top. That's really something. I didn't want to bring this up, but it also appears that this level is not very well optimized, specifically around the drop. So imagine doing all of this with the consistency of playing this game on a Samsung fridge. Huh. Maybe I should have brought this up, because I just remember that this is a gauntlet level, which is required to unlock this ball that you can't unlock through any other means. In short, Odyssey has some nice decoration, but the gameplay is abysmal, which really should have taken center stage considering that it's now just as much of a requirement to 100% this game as an official level. When I asked what makes Geometry Dash worth coming back to over and over again in the intro, I wasn't just presenting a question for the audience to answer. It's a question that I've asked myself time and time again. You see, in the 8 or so years that I've been on and off Geometry Dash, I've lost a lot of accounts, which means that I've lost a lot of progress. I've probably beaten the official levels on new accounts more times than there are stars on Deadlocked, and in each save I progressed further and further before eventually losing it all. Thankfully, I can say that my current save is here to stay, and that means a lot, considering that I don't have to beat this many map packs ever again. What could I say about map packs? Map packs, like gauntlets, are level packs that you can complete to unlock rewards, except that they've been around longer, progress differently, and reward you with secret coins. And I actually enjoy the map packs really early on. I can't deny that gauntlets are objectively much better in execution, but I believe that the map packs have one thing that the gauntlets don't. That thing being level variety. Now, even that could have been implemented better, but playing through the map packs exposes the player to a variety of gameplay styles. And frankly, I think that being able to master different gameplay styles generally makes you a more skilled player. However, map packs go both ways, because just as there is a variety of good gameplay styles, there's also a variety of bad gameplay styles. I tried filtering which levels I'd consider the worst, because although I hate levels such as Corrupted Kingdom, Hyper Ice Jumper, and Tyrian Wall, I have the strength to admit that this is genuinely a skill issue. However, I've settled on 2 choices for my least favorite map pack levels. Let's start with the easier of the 2, being Portal by Mindsap. Portal is a pretty popular level just in concept alone, and I'm a fan of the concept too. So, what makes this level one of my least favorite of the map packs? Well, it's the gameplay. Portal's biggest issue in terms of its gameplay is in its sight readability, in that it's barely sight readable. Chamber 1 from 0 to 16% is pretty straightforward, but there's at least one thing to memorize throughout the other 84% of the level. Chamber 2 from 17 to 32% is fine, except oops, there's this random ass turret you're supposed to jump over. Then you get to Chamber 3, where there's an invisible gravity portal. These decor pieces kill you without any indication, and for some reason, this custom upside down portal doesn't face the same direction as every other custom upside down portal in the level. By the time you reach Chamber 4 at 58%, the level basically tells you to beat it in practice mode first, because there's no way anyone beat this level in their first try without knowing anything that was up ahead. Invisible mini portals, inconsistently rotated custom portals, whatever this block does, and decor pieces that were established to kill you, except they don't kill you anymore because user coin. And that's just Chamber 4. Chamber 5 is probably the second most sight-readable section of the level, except for this stupid jump you have to make after teleporting. And Chamber 6 could have been sight-readable if more level creators learned to incorporate tracks for their moving blocks. At the end of the day, I do not like this level. I find it to be really slow and boring, which makes sense because it's a 4-star level. However, I think that the fact that it is a 4-star level is what brings it down even more for me. There's no incentive for me to go out of my way to memorize a level that I don't like just for 4 stars. Coupled with the fact that when you die, you have to start all the way back from Chamber 1, Portal is just annoying to play. Funnily enough, I think this level really would have benefited from being made in 2.2. With the update's new camera controls, and even platformer mode, this could have been a great level. But having being limited to Update 2.0, I consider Portal to be one of my least favorite map pack levels. But that bears the question, what's my number 1 least favorite map pack level? Buried deep within the 65 map packs, tucked away neatly in the Chaos pack, lies a level known simply as Theory of Relativity, loosely based on Geometry Dash's 12th official level, Theory of Everything. Now, Theory of Everything remakes are no stranger to the map packs. In fact, there are a total of 4 featured from the Warp Pack all the way up to Remix Pack 4. So, what makes Theory of Relativity in particular stand out? Well, from the gameplay, nothing really. However, the answer can be found within the level's description. I'll take the liberties of reading it to you all. So, I fix it for easier. Do you satisfy for this? Here's what the level looks like now. I hate Theory of Relativity. And that's not just because this level was a pain in the ass to beat. This level's gameplay and decoration are atrocious. Right off the bat, this level screams early 2.0, with a mess of decoration and a combination of design styles that do not work well together. However, the gameplay is pretty honest for what you can make of it. But once you make it to the ball section at 8%, the level begins its rapid decline. Although level creators should aim to make their levels as sight-readable as possible, there's something inherently wrong with giving the player something to remember or react faster to. You can see this in levels as early as Back on Track. But when remembering becomes excessive, or you're expected to react to something completely out of the box with no lead-in or indication, that's when I start to have a problem. Theory of Relativity is also in an interesting position, because on top of being fundamentally unsight-readable, the decor makes it even harder to read. It's a visual overload, with so many things being there just to be there. Could you tell me why these platforms light up? Why do these monsters pop up? Why do these spikes have to move and flash like that? Why are there randomly custom portals that never show up for the rest of the level? Could you even answer any of those questions with anything other than I don't know, it just looks cool, I guess? Surprisingly, the gameplay from 34 to 48% isn't that bad. But once you get to 49%, it's blind gravity orbs, pads, and a transition into an absurdly tight, unreactable ship section at 58%. At 66%, you blindly fly into one of 3 pathways, leading into the worst part of the level. There's no excuse for this section. It's completely memory-based, requiring you to have completed this level in practice mode, unless you want to go through the hell that is replaying Theory of Relativity in normal mode until you get this part down. After that is a janky ball section, this stupid UFO section where you have to figure out where these columns open from and which keys do what, and finally, a blind transition into the only good part of the entire fucking level. Ugh, what a mess. When you compare this level to the original version, you can really tell how every change made this level so much worse from a gameplay and a visual perspective. I felt nothing upon completing this level for the first time. No joy, no anger, no relief, just ready to move on to the next one. Which, mind you, was another updated level from Venza. I'd argue that Theory of Relativity is the worst map pack level in Geometry Dash. And I hope that I never have to play it again after recording this footage. Alright, I've been talking about bad map pack levels for a while. So I thought I'd address what most players regard as the worst map pack level because I have no other place to put it. That level in particular, being Dynamic on Track. Honestly, what can I say about this level that hasn't been said already? Well, it's a tough level. Definitely not the hardest 5-star level, but easily harder than every other 5-star map pack level. And yeah, that's the only public opinion I share. I don't think Dynamic on Track is a bad level. At all. The biggest problem with dynamic on track from a new player perspective is that very few levels prepare you for dynamic on track's gameplay. New players would have to know how the cube plays at 2 times and 3 times speed in order for this level to be sight readable. And while I'd hope that Golden Club, the level before dynamic on track, was intentionally placed first to ease new players into higher speed gameplay, Golden Club is generally much easier than dynamic on track. Hell, I'd even argue that increasing dynamic on track's difficulty rating to harder, so it can appear in a later map pack, preferably one after fast pack, would balance this level's difficulty much better. Or, I don't know, I'm just getting silly here. RobTop could have created a dynamic pack for the first 3 levels in the dynamic series to teach new players this high-speed gameplay. So much that could have been done to save this level's reputation. Because man, has dynamic on track reached an all-time low. I'm pretty indecisive on how I feel about levels in gauntlets and map packs being updated, because some levels need it, and some levels really didn't need it. In a dynamic on track's case, it's just kinda sad. I think this level getting nerfed to reflect its current difficulty rating is a fine idea, but since people love to complain when things aren't done to their liking, you get shit like this. It's not even fun anymore, and certain nerfs created problems that didn't even exist previously. I could say that I dislike dynamic on track now, but I feel like it's a little disingenuous to say when its changes aren't as drastic as, let's say, theory of relativity. Still, the case of dynamic on track is really sad to see. And I know that I could chalk it up to a player-wide skill issue, but it's pretty obvious that there's more to it than that. And those are some of my least favorite levels in Geometry Dash, plus dynamic on track for good measure. If it wasn't obvious by now, I'm a huge fan of level design and level creation. But of course, people typically enjoy hearing what's wrong with something over what's right with something. Still, if there were any games with levels you'd be interested in hearing me pick apart, feel free to suggest them in the comments. I chose to talk about Geometry Dash not just to introduce a new topic to the channel, but because I rarely see people talk about creator level design. Let me know your thoughts about this video and my opinions in the comments below. I always enjoy reading some discourse. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Bro, I think it's here. Oh my god, it's getting closer. Okay, we're getting ready to jump. Get ready to jump. Okay. Oh, 3, 2, 1.